Hey, sixth grade. So today we're working on K13 or multiplying mixed numbers, and the shortcut is Z9M. So we're just going to see problems like this, where we're going to be multiplying those mixed numbers. We do need to write our answer as a fraction or as a whole or a mixed number, okay? So the first thing we need to do when we are multiplying our improper fractions is just our mixed number is change it to an improper fraction. And then we just multiply it across like we do with any two fractions that we are multiplying. So if I pull this over here, so these are the same numbers. This is going to be a pretty quick one. So remember that I'm going to kind of start at the bottom and go to the top when I'm changing it from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay, it's just an arrow. So first thing I need to do is I'm going to keep the bottom number the same because the number on the bottom is just telling me the size of the piece. So I'm not changing that at all. Okay, so another way I can think about it is, so this just stays the same. So when I'm trying to find the new top number, I'm going to multiply the bottom and the whole number together, 3 times 5, which is 15, and then I'm going to add that remainder of that 1 on top. So 3 times 5 I said was 15, plus that 1 gives me 16. So my new top number is going to be 16 over 3. One other way I can think about it, and this 5 1/3 is the same. So I know that 1 whole in thirds is going to be 3 over 3, right? So that's the same, and I'm going to actually erase that. That's not a good box. But that's the same as 1 whole, right? So if I need 5 of those, then I am just having 3 times 5 because I know that it's going to be 3 over 3 5 times if I have 5 whole pieces. So another way you can think about that is just adding those numbers together, right? So these are all thirds, and if I want to make them wholes, then I need to make them 3 thirds. So now I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole numbers. And then I remember that I also had that additional 1/3, which was not a whole, but that's kind of like the remainder, right? So if I add these numbers, all the numbers on top together, that's just another way. That's how I got my answer of 16. If I add these all together, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 is 15, plus that extra 1 is 16. So that's another way to think about it. So going back to my original problem of 16 over 3 times 5 1/3, well, this is the exact same number. So it's still just 16 over 3 times 16 over 3. Now I'm just going to do what I normally do for a fraction, and I'm just going to straight multiply those numbers across. So remember that when I'm adding or subtracting fractions, I would keep the denominator the same, but that is not the case when I am multiplying. So if I do 3 times 3, my new bottom number is going to be 9, and my new top number, 16 times 16, is going to give me 256. Okay, so 256 should be my final answer over 9. 256 over 9. Let's check our answer. And that's one way you could solve for it. All right, we got that correct. Okay, we're going to jump up a level. And we'll do the same thing. So now I have a problem that is no longer the same number. So I'm going to have to convert both of these, but I'm going to do it the exact same way I did before, where I'm just going to multiply, make that like backwards C, starting at the bottom, going to the top, multiplying these numbers. So the 9 times the 4, that's going to give me my 36. And then I'm going to add that 2. So 9 times 4 plus 2 is going to give me 38. So the bottom number is going to stay the same. So my new fraction is going to be 38 over 9. Okay? And so I'm doing the exact same thing over here, starting at the bottom, going to the top, multiplying these two numbers, and then adding the number on top, which is my remainder. So 5 times 1 is just 5, plus 2 is going to be 7. So the new number over here is going to be 7 over, remember I'm keeping my bottom number the same, so it's still over 5. All right, and now to solve for it, all I need to do is just multiply straight across. So 38 times 7, and then 9 times 5 is going to give me my answer. So when I figure that out, I get, it's a little bigger. So 38 times 7 is 266. And then I know that 9 times 5 is just 45. I don't need to worry about simplifying it. This is perfectly fine to leave it in this way. If I needed to then make this into a decimal or into a mixed number, remember this is just a division problem, so I could take my 266, divide it by 45, and then figure out what my mixed number was. So let's try that as well. So take 266 and dividing it by 45. So this isn't like straightforward, but if I think about, I'm counting by 45s, closest number I'm going to get is 5. Because 5 times 45 is 225. Now I had to like write out my 45s. I know 45 plus 45 is 90, and then I had to keep counting up from there to see what I got. So I subtract these, we get 1 and 4. 41, I put 0.0. Bring this down. Okay, now I have 410. I'm thinking, okay, what's the closest I can get to that? Okay, this time it's going to be 9. 9 times 45. Again, I had to write that out to get 405. Subtract that. I'm going to get 5 left over. Starting to run out of room here. Let's just erase. And then what you're going to quickly find is that if I add a 0 here, the closest, this one's a lot easier, the closest I can get to 50 with 45 is just 1. And then 45, I'm going to keep having 5 as my remainder. If I keep adding a 0, bringing it down, it's just going to keep 1 going forever. So that's why it's easier to go ahead and just leave this one in terms of 266 over 45. So 266 over 45, which is what we originally got when we multiplied this together, should still get us our correct answer. So let's try that. 266 divided by 45, not 46. And that is our answer. And as you kind of see, even if as I jump up, these are still the same exact idea. Or we're just taking those improper fractions, those mixed numbers, converting them to improper fractions, and then just multiplying across. So even the more tough ones are the exact same idea. So once you have that idea, you should be good to go.